on. Okay, cool, it's working. It disconnected for a second. It's about to storm here, so sometimes my power goes out. That's not gonna happen though. Okay, so welcome to the last module of the course. Seriously. We're gonna be talking about inspired action. I'm just gonna make sure this is working first. Last module of the course. Yep, it's working. Perfect. Cool. Okay, let's get right into it. I have a full page of notes for you guys. And yeah, we'll just get right into it. Hi, Allison. Okay, so today we're talking about inspired action. This is the last module of the course, and I was actually feeling inspired to do this module, and then the questions from you guys of like, this is kind of like the missing link in the course, and I was like, yeah, you're right, let me do the module. So anyways, here it is. Better late than never, here we are. Okay, so by now you should have gone through all the other modules in the course, right? And if you haven't, get the fuck off this module. So let me just readjust this thing so I don't pull the cord and rip my phone out. Okay, so here's the thing, guys. The work we did in module 1 together, the work you're doing in module 1 or have done in module 1 is like that energy where you learn to kind of like facilitate yourself into alignment. You know what being in alignment's like, right? That's the energy that when maintained will carry you all the way to an idea, right? If you don't, if you're not getting ideas or you're not getting impulses to act on things, like, cause the thing is, most of the time, you're gonna be a very cooperative component to your desires. You're gonna be a very active facilitator in manifesting the things that you want and manifesting a successful business or amounts of money. And again, that's not always the case. Like, you know, people win the lottery, you know what I mean? Like people call in money, people call in inheritances or whatever. Like that's not always the case. But I would say a lot of the time that is the case, like long-term in your life, that is the case, right? So you're gonna be an active facilitator in creating your manifestations around money and other areas of your life, right? But we're talking about money. Hello, get lit with money, bitch, right? So hence the inspired action module, right? So again, the work in module 1, when maintained, will carry you all the way to the impulse, to the stage of impulse, right? Which means an idea. So ultimately, this is how you get to the place where you actually have the energy backing you to make a decision, or I mean to get an idea and act on the idea so that it carries you to completion for what you're looking for, right? Hi, Jennifer. So ultimately, it's just like anything else. We've talked about this earlier in the course. It's deciding you get to have what you want, right? And I think people tend to overcomplicate the process of making a decision. It's like, how do I decide to make more money? It's just as simple and as easy as how do I decide between, you know, this, wait, where's my pen? Between this and that. You just make a decision, right? It's just like, okay, that one, right? Obviously you need both. If you want a journal, you need a pen and a journal. But anyways, that's what I had near me at the time. So anyways, it's just that simple as well. We tend to make decision making, we tend to overcomplicate the process around things in our business or around things like money, but it's simply just make a goddamn decision, right? It's very, very simple, very, very easy. So decide you get to have what you want, and then it's just like riding that energy out, and it won't take very long. At most, it takes maybe a couple days, maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks at most, and then it's like, as long as that energy is being maintained, which we talked about in module 1, it's like you will get an impulse, you will get an idea, right? And that's where you become the cooperative component to manifesting your desires, to manifesting more money, to manifesting more successful business, whatever it is. Hi, Christine. So then here's the important part. When that impulse comes in, it's your job to act on it, right? It's your job to just roll with it, right? And here's the important part. Here's where a lot of people fuck it up. They manifesting like a pro these days is so easy once I'm in that energy. Good. So a lot of people fuck it up because they get an idea or an impulse and they're like, no, that doesn't make sense, right? And they rule it out, they throw it out, right? Or they get an idea or an impulse and then they start putting all this weight on it, right? Oh, I got the idea. This is the thing that's going to help me make 6 figures or 7 figures, or this is the thing that's going to get me what I want. And so they start putting all this pressure on this idea, and then they cut off the flow of inspiration, whether they're consciously aware of it or not, and then the impulse starts to leave, right? So the energy backing the impulse, the initial excitement that you once had where it's like, oh my God, I can fully do this right now, that energy starts to deplete, that energy starts to go away because you're pinching it off by putting all this weight on the pressure of that idea, or you're putting all the pressure on that idea that you received, that impulse that you received, right? So it's all about maintaining the energy of module 1, the vibe of module 1 that we talked about throughout the process, right? And then here's another important thing, guys. Don't ever create an idea or create an offer in your business or try to do something from this energy of scarcity. So like this energy of like, I don't have enough money, let me try and make more money, let me just pull something out of my ass. Those things are never sustainable. So if you ever find yourself in that place of like, I need to make more money, or I need to, like, I'm not making enough money right now, how do I make more money right now? Your job in that moment is not to create an idea or to put out an offer. Your job is to get your energy back in the right place, move the momentum again, and then receive an idea, right? And then from that place, carry it out to completion. Here's another thing. So I have notes so I don't forget to talk about something. So yeah, getting out of scarcity, allowing that momentum to build to the point of an impulse to act, right? And then it's just like not bringing this energy in or this mentality in that's like, what if this doesn't work, right? Because again, you get to choose if it works. You get to choose if this thing gets to work. And then here's another thing. Not putting this weight or this meaning around the impulse to act. So for example, let's say you get an idea and you keep it light and easy. If you're truly keeping it light and easy and it doesn't immediately turn over into the thing you think it should be, or the amount of money you think you should have from this impulse or from this idea to act that you followed through on, it's like you're giving meaning to things that aren't true, right? I'll elaborate on that in a second. I have a seed from a smoothie that I just made in my mouth. Let me get it. Whatever. It's in there somewhere. But anyways, so it's taking the pressure off your actions and not making it mean things if it doesn't immediately produce your desired result, and knowing it's always working, right? That was something that used to totally fuck me up, was like, I would get into the energy and I would vibe and I would flow, and then I would get these ideas, and then I would start putting all this pressure on it, and then I would start trying to make it work, and then it's like it would slow it down even further. There it is. got the seed. Be unattached to how you want it to show up, basically. Kind of, yeah. So it's just like, when you get the idea, when you get the impulse, it's just like not needing this to be the thing that brings you to your multi-million-dollar thing, right? Because it's like, all that matters is that you're connected to your inner being, you're in alignment, right? Because your inner being knows what's going to take you there. And if you're being inspired or like being guided to act on this thing, or produce this idea, or put out this offer, or set up this meeting with so-and-so, or apply for a job here, it's like it's serving you perfectly, but it's just your job to trust it and know how it's working, and not overcomplicate the process, and not need to get there directly right now, right? Because it's like you're being guided to get there. You're being guided to get there in the way that's quickest and most easiest to you in your path, given the resistance you have or don't have right now, in relationship to everything that you want, right? So it's just about knowing that and trusting that, and deciding that it's working, right? Because something that used to fuck me up was like, I would get the impulse, and then, like I said, I would put the weight around it, and then I would let go of the weight, and then I would be like, it's not working, it's not working, it's not working, and it's like, what the fuck does that even mean? It's like everything's always working all the time, right? And then it's like, the more I just relaxed into that more general, broader perspective, which we talked about in a previous module, right? The more things just like didn't need to work out immediately, because things needing to work out immediately means you're functioning from a place of scarcity, right? Because it's like you need something from this in order to feel a certain way. And as you guys know, since you've been in the course and you've watched all the other modules, that means you're doing it backwards, right? Because it's always you get into the energy of what you want, you get in the vibe, you feel it, you get into alignment, and then, right? Nice, but like with your mastermind, you had resistance to it, but you were able to find what was blocking you from actually doing it, getting fully behind it. What is that a question, Christina? I don't know what you're saying. I can elaborate on that if you want. So yeah, I did a mastermind, or I launched a mastermind. I don't know, how long ago was that? Maybe like 4 to 6 months ago. And I just didn't produce it from the right energy. I didn't move forward with it from the right energy. It was forced. It wasn't ready yet. It wasn't fully ripe, right? So it's just kind of like trying to bite into a piece of fruit that's still rock hard and green. It's like it's not ready for you to eat it yet. So it's just like not making this fruit the thing you need to eat right now, right? And you won't do that. You won't fixate on certain things or avenues when it's like when you're just genuinely and generally connected to everything's always working out for me. I get to have what I want, and that's just simply a decision you make, which you're able to make once you've done the work for module 1 and the previous modules, because you've lightened up the load just at least somewhat, right? You've lightened up the load because as long as you're continually utilizing this course, right? You've lightened up the load enough to where you have the ability available to you to simply make decisions and choose that things get to work. Yeah, so with the mastermind, when I launched it the first time, or with the other mastermind, because the mastermind I'm launching now is like totally different. Because the first one just wasn't aligned. It was forced. It wasn't produced from the right energy. It wasn't ready yet, right? But I was like, well, this logically just makes sense for me to do right now. It's like the next thing to stack my income more. It's the next thing to do to facilitate more people. But it was like I didn't actually have the desire to do it yet, right? But I just tried to force it from this off energy of like, this is the way I make money right now, or this is just the next thing. It just makes sense, right? Instead of actually tuning in and being guided, right? So when I finally was just like, fuck this shit, I don't actually want to do this mastermind, and I just threw it in the fucking trash, and I was like, the mastermind is off, and I like made the announcement or whatever, and I was like, I'm not doing it right now. Maybe I'll do a mastermind in the future, but it's like what I really wanted to do was a live event, and I had some fear and insecurity. I was like, I don't think people will come to my live event unless I include it in the mastermind. I know how to get people to sign up for other things, but I've never done a live event before, right? So the mastermind was a mask for the things I wasn't dealing with, right? Yeah, good call, Anushka. So what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so with the mastermind, I just like threw it in fucking trash, right? And then what ended up happening was like, I gave myself permission to have what I want, period, right? I was like, I get to make more money, and I get to have this enjoyable thing, and I get to just like keep flowing and moving my business and growing my business, cool, done, right? And then it was like, I opened up myself to these other avenues in which to grow my business and to make money, and also be connected to it, and actually also have it be something I wanted to do, right? And also have it be something that was fun and enjoyable, right? And then when that was the case, it was like I started working on these other things, and like, you know, started going on trips, and just like forgot about it, right? I just forgot about the mastermind. I was like, it'll come back when it's ready. And then what ended up happening, like I just knew it, I just trusted it, I just chose that, right? I chose that experience. I was like, it'll come back when it's ready. And so guess what it did, right? Like it wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna map out the mastermind. Sometimes I map things out when it feels right, when it feels good, when it feels like that's how I'm getting my energy behind this. But at the time, like I said, the old mastermind was just like garbage. It was just like, it wasn't garbage, but it just like, it wasn't aligned, right? So anyways, yeah, it just came back when I was ready for it, when I was just like, took the pressure off and just started bringing the fun and the flow back into my business. And then it was like, it was like randomly one day, I was just like, oh my God, I want to do a mastermind. I think, right? And it was like, I think, and I was like, this energy is more potent than it was last time. Let's like, this is fun and exciting, right? And I just made it a good thing instead of like what a lot of people do is like, something feels off or let me force it. Like I just got curious, right? I was just light and easy about it, and I just got curious, and I was like, it doesn't feel fully there. What's the part that's not feeling fully there? And I was like, there's some clarity missing, right? And so what I did, and I was like, the clarity that was missing, I could feel it, right? We all know what we're feeling as long as we just check in and ask ourselves. And it was like the clarity was missing on, do I actually fully want to do the mastermind? It was like, I feel like I want to do it more than I wanted to do it last time, but it still doesn't feel like a hell yes. So I was like, something needs my attention, right? So what I did, and I actually have this in my notebook, I just saw it a second ago before I started doing this, but it was like reasons why I want to do the mastermind and reasons why I don't, right? And I just wrote that out, and I was like, I'm going to cultivate some awareness around this offer. And it was like, maybe I could find it. Maybe I'll just tell you, because I don't know. It's buried in here. Anyways, it was like, I want to do the mastermind because it'll be a cool way to add reoccurring income. But I also like, I was like, that's like a little bit of the desire, right? But that wasn't the predominant desire. And it was like, but I mostly just want to facilitate this work like that I do with my one-on-one clients with people in a mastermind. I want to be someone who creates this space of community in a higher level way. I've never done that before, and that sounds really fun. I'm ready for it and want to do it, right? That was the predominant energy there. And then it was like, why don't I want to do the mastermind? And it was like, I I'm worried I'll have to hold people accountable, and I don't want to fucking do that. I want people to be able to show up by themselves and get the most out of this by just them showing up, right? Like, I don't want to have to continually check in with people. I don't want to babysit people. I don't want to fucking baby people. Like, these are fucking business people. I want real fucking serious people. And I was like, cool, that was the reason why I didn't want to do it. And then another reason why I didn't want to do it was, like, I don't want to offer one-off sessions in the mastermind continually. And I was like, cool, I don't have to. Nobody ever made that a rule. Like, nobody said you had to do that. Just because other people do that does not mean you have to do that. Done, right? So I got rid of that thing, and I was like, I don't have to do that. Cool, done. Permission. Okay, it's working. Yeah, sorry. One of my coaches is boxing me, so whenever I get Voxer messages, it fucks up, like freezes my phone if I'm on YouTube or Facebook Live for whatever reason. But anyways, and then the other thing was, yeah, like I just want people to like show up ready and committed. Because I drew upon a reference I had with a group coaching program that I did forever ago, and I was like, not every single person showed up to every call, and some people I could feel like it wasn't a priority for them, and I was like, I'm not doing that again. Like, I'd rather not do a mastermind or a group coaching program or whatever. Like, this is a mastermind, it's different, right? The mastermind, if you're wondering, about the mastermind, anyways, it's different than a group coaching program. You're being facilitated the same way you are in a group program, but it's different in the sense where you have a community that you're doing it with. And the community also supports you, right? And you support the community. You add value to the community as well, right? Anyways, what was I going to say? But yeah, there was this other idea that was like, I don't want these baby, like, ass bitches in it, basically. And I just decided that I wasn't going to have that, so I just raised my standard, right? That was what was available to me in that moment. I just had to decide that it was going to be different. We're back. We're back, right? Let me know if you guys can hear me, because it's good on my phone, but on my computer it says it's... Okay, cool, it's back. Anyways, but then it was like, once I got rid of that idea, it was like, I just decided to have it be different. It was like, holy fuck, it feels 100% ready. Hell yes, I want to do this mastermind, right? And I just had to go in, and again, like I've been preaching throughout this entire course, awareness, 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 awareness. Like if you don't know, fucking know. Find a way to know. Find a way to know what's going on. Just check in with yourself. So that's what I had to do. And then it was like, oh my God, I want to do the mastermind. And then it was like, in that moment, I wrote out the sales page. Because I got the idea, I got the inspiration, and it was like, I know exactly what I want to say. Oh my God, I have to write this down. I don't want to forget it, right? And I wrote it just like in a note document on my MacBook. And then I just saved it. And I was like, I don't feel like launching it yet. I don't feel inspired to pick a date yet. Whereas here's how people would fuck that up. For fuck's sake, man. If people don't stop boxing me, I'm just going to delete the app right now. But anyways... So we're back. But anyways, what was I saying? Oh yeah, the inspiration took me as far as writing the sales page, right? And then so I wrote the sales page, and it was like, oh my God, I can't wait to write this down. I don't want to forget this. Oh my gosh, this feels so fucking good and life-giving to just write, right? Whereas like what a lot of people do is like the energy isn't fully there yet because they didn't fully address the energy, and so they try and force themselves to write a sales page so they can sell it and make money, right? And then it's like, yeah, of course you want to help people, but it's like, that's buried under all this bullshit of I'm trying to make money, right? Scarcity. That's the driving force. And when that's the driving force, you can't create shit. You can't create shit that's sustainable or sells well or is a good experience for everyone involved. So anywho, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so then the inspiration came as far as writing the sales page, and I didn't put pressure on it. I wasn't like, oh my God, I need to know when to launch this. I need to force this. I need to like have the, where's the inspiration to fucking pick the date and the prices and like the time frame, how long I want this mastermind to be, and like how many people I want in it. Like where's the rest of it? Like I didn't do that. I was just like, oh, I just wrote the sales page and that felt good, right? It's almost like orgasming. It's like when that energy builds up, you just have to release it into this creative expression, right? And it's like when you're about to orgasm, like the sexual energy just builds and builds and builds, and then it's released, and it's like, right? It feels like that, right? And then, so it's like that in the creative energy as well. It's like the same kind of thing. So it's like, instead of just trying to like, hi Neve, instead of just trying to like get to orgasm right now, it's like, build it up and enjoy it. You know what I mean? And don't put all this pressure on it. Have you ever gone into sex and been like, I just want to get off and I just want to orgasm or whatever, and you're just like trying to be all strategic about your sex, and it's just like harder to enjoy. And it's like you may get a little orgasm, but it's not like this mind-blowing amazing orgasm that you wanted, right? It's because you're not being present, you're not enjoying it, right? You're not being in your body, right? And it's the same thing in your offers, it's the same thing in your work, it's the same thing with the inspired actions. It's like, yes, much fun intended. Yeah, you did join at the right time. Yeah, so it's like that, right? So it's just like, build it up and don't put all this pressure on it. And then it's just like, allow it to move naturally to climax, which it will, right? And then, what was I gonna say? Yeah, is this making sense? Not like a good, like not a, yes, lol. Or I feel pressured to orgasm faster. Yeah. Like not a good pressure force. Totally. But yeah, that just like, you'll give yourself that space, when you just stop making things mean things, right? Because like, here's another thing that I've had to do in order to keep the momentum moving around like being inspired to act, right? Is like, I had to stop putting so much meaning behind things, right? And just start enjoying the process more, right? Because inspired actions, like having access to continual creative energy that's potent enough to move you to act is something that you have to allow to build, and it will build as long as you're maintaining your alignment, right? And it's not like be a Nazi about it and don't ever be unhappy. I'm getting a Voxer message. Hang on. Let's just make sure this doesn't freeze. Okay, we're good. But anyway, so it's not like being like crazy about it, and it's just like allowing it to build to the point where it's potent enough where you feel ready to do it, right? Because again, I got as far as the sales page, and then I just decided that I just was excited about it, and I kept this positive energy going, and I kept this movement going, right? Whereas I could have freaked out and been like, I don't have the rest of the ideas, or tried to force it, because what the fuck is a half idea? And it's like when people do that, these ideas peter out. Or they force them to completion. They force them, and then they have a shitty orgasm, right? I mean, is there such thing as a shitty orgasm? You know, some are better than others for sure. So yeah, there is. So it's like that. I'm getting a lot of Vox messages from my coaches. But anyways, it's like that with your actions as well. So it's like, just allow it to build and just enjoy it, right? And then it's like, you'll get to the next one. You'll get to the next thing or the next part of that idea, right? As long as you know that. But if you go, oh my God, this is unreliable, I only have a half idea, it's like you are creating your own reality, motherfucker. So it's like, of course, it's only going to be half-assed, right? When you put out half-assed energy, you get a half-assed idea. So it's just like carrying it all the way to completion every time as long as it takes. My sister crept in outside of the camera view and stole my headphones. Anyways, so yeah, is this making sense, guys? Hi, Laura. But yeah, when I wrote out that energy, and I was just like, yeah, I wrote the sales page, and that felt good, and like, and I just enjoyed it, and I was like, I didn't put all this pressure on it, and I honestly just was distracted by other things in my life and in my business, like in a good way. Like, I'm just enjoying these things, like, cool, that went as far as it did. Anyways, back to this other thing, la 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 la, right? And I just got in that, and then it was like the idea, like, I was at the gym one day, and I was just like walking on a treadmill, and it was like, bam, the rest of it came, and it was like, oh my God, it was like, as far as I knew, the sales page was done, right? But it was like adding 3/4 more to the sales page, and I was like, oh my God, this is beautiful, this is amazing, wow, this is delicious, right? This idea. And I just whipped out my phone, and I was like putting it in my notes, because you know, on Macs and iPhones, like, your notes sync up, right? So I already had the partial sales page, which I thought was a complete sales page done for the mastermind, and I opened up that note, and I just started adding to it and adding to it and adding to it, and then the energy was like, oh my God, this is how many people you're going to have, this is how much you're charging, and this is the concept of the mastermind, and this is what you're facilitating for people, you know exactly how to do this, you know who you want in this mastermind, done, 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 done. And then it was like, hot damn, and then right there while I was on the treadmill, it was like, this is when we're starting, this is when I'm going to start launching it, this is the kind of person I want in it, done, 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 right? Yeah, so that's what I was talking about, Christine. So Christina, so if you get an idea and it's only a sliver, don't get hung up on it. Like, allow it to come and know you get to make money and enjoy things anyways. Exactly. So it's like not making your inspired action, like not putting all the pressure on the action or the idea, right? So it's like, you get to make money just because you fucking want to, just because you're worthy of it, just because you fucking decided you got to. when that is separate, that is a separate thing from your offers. That is a separate thing from your ideas, right? Your ideas are ways for money to come in, but it's like money is coming not because you got an idea. Money is coming because you're fucking a vibrational match to it, period. Yeah, no worries, Laura. Does that make sense? Cool, I'll take that as a yes. But yeah, like I said, this is the last thing I have to say about this. Good, Christine. Because I mean, it's like the offer isn't your source, or like your bigger vision for your life, whether you have a coaching business or whether you're like, you do something completely different, or you're a school teacher, like I don't fucking know. Like whatever it is you do with your life, it's like, this is applicable to you, obviously. It's just like, I get to have what I want, and then it's just like being as clear as you are right now, and then not making, like, if you only have a sliver of an idea, it's like, if you only have like a sliver of an idea, like Christine said, or like a partial general direction of an idea, whatever, and it's like not fully there enough to act on it, it's just like enjoying as far as it is and doing as much as is available to you, right? So like with the sales page example for my mastermind, for example, excuse me, like I took it as far as it went. I didn't need it to move any further in order for me to feel safe and secure and like I was going to make more money, right? That was already inevitably there. That was already a standard. That was already decided, right? This has nothing to do with that. This is just an extension of it. It's just a way for money to come in, right? But it's not why money comes in, right? Money comes in because I'm an energetic match to it. Good, Christine. Yes, I get to make money anyways. Totally. But anyways, this is important. What I'm about to say is important. So it's like, as you start to move through this, there will be times when you forget this, and you will need to come back to this module over and over and over until this just starts to be a way of life for you, right? So if you don't get it perfectly the first time, that's fine, right? The action is just like, it just feels like I'm available, I'm open, and I'm willing to be a part of this, right? And then it's like from that energy, but it's also like not needing to be the sole contributor or the sole provider for this manifestation to work or to happen. And it's like God or the universe or whatever the fuck you believe in is the sole provider, contributor, or whatever to your manifestation. You're just the cooperative component. So it's like you have to be in the right energy. Hello, module 1 and the rest of the other modules. You have to be in the right energy, and you have to be open and ready and available for money. But it's like you just have to carry that energy to an impulse, to an idea. Just know as much as you know. And again, this is applicable for you whether you're a coach, you have your own business, or you don't. It's just like be open and ready and available for money because you want it, and just be like, cool, I want it, so I get to have it. And then it's just like be in that energy until you get an idea. And you will always get the idea that works for your circumstance and your scenario, your job, your line of work, your type of business, whatever it is. And then it's just like being willing to play with it and having a good fucking time and not putting all this pressure around it, right? And then it's like from there, like for me, in the first year of my business, I didn't use strategy. I mean, there were strategies I used, but it was like, it's very, very minimal, and it was all just like, yeah, whatever. It was very, very minimal. And it was a lot of like receiving versus like being a cooperative component, because I felt like I'm very unavailable to accidentally force things. So I had to do some mindset work around like not being so afraid to take action, and not making that mean that I was trying to force it or control it, because forcing and controlling is like an emotional state, right? And then now this year in my business, growing to the multiple six-figure level, and moving beyond that is just like, it's just like being ready and available for bigger ideas, right? Being ready and available for bigger amounts of money, right? It's not any harder because it's more money, it's just a different number, right? And then it's just like, from there, just doing the work I've been doing this entire time, the work I've taught you guys in the course, like it's not any different. It's not any different. It's just like I've opened myself up more because I've been doing it longer. And so, one second. And so I just get to like play with things, right? So like one of my last launches, for example, I was like, I'm gonna have a bigger launch, and I'm just fucking going to, right? And anytime I wavered from that energy, I did what I taught you guys in module 7, and I just got back into the energy, got back into the energy, got back into the energy. And then I just got back into it over and over and over, and I was unwilling and unavailable. Again, we've talked about this in the course in the previous modules. Unwilling and unavailable for things to linger, right? Or anytime I felt bad for it to linger, and I sat down and I addressed it and I created awareness. Again, the most important part of this work, right? And then I just did what I knew based on this work in this course. Like, based on this awareness I created, I know I get to throw this out, and I get to throw out the obligation. Like, nobody said I had to do that, right? Threw that in the trash. Or it's like, I get to change my idea about this, which we've talked about in the previous modules, right? Like, if this doesn't sell out by this date, that means it's not working. It's like, I get to throw out that idea. I get to change the meaning. Okay, cool, I'm missing some comments. I've got 2 ideas brewing, and I'm just allowing them to hang out in my energy, and one or the other will pop soon and pull me into the flow. So for me, whenever I get into that space, I just make sure I'm focusing on the ideas from an energy of like, that's cool, right? That's really fun, right? It's almost like this idea of like, driving the car you ideally want to drive one day or whatever. It's just like, yeah, just enjoy the idea. But it's like, you don't need the car right now. You can just enjoy it. And it's like, from there, you're playing with the energy directly of these impulses and these ideas, but you're doing so from like a higher frequency, and you're moving the energy. And so the momentum can build to the point of climax, right? AKA the impulse to act, right? But don't ever like put this pressure around it or like need it right now, right? I feel that too. I'm opening up to manifesting the receiving mode rather than trying to control things. Yeah. And I also think it's just like maintaining this idea of like the receiving mode is reliable, right? Because I think as we tend to get controlling, we entrepreneurs tend to get controlling when it's like we believe that manifestation is an unreliable process, or a process that only works sometimes, or it's inconsistent. And it's like time isn't real to God or the universe. So it's like God gives it whenever he, she, it feels like, or whatever. But it's like, I got bills every month, motherfuckers, right? But it's just like changing the meaning on that, and just like having a deeper sense of like security that's yours, like a sovereign security, not anything that's dependent, right? Not a dependent feeling of, or a sense of security, and just like that's yours, right? And then from there, it's just like changing the meaning of things, and like changing the ideas about things, not putting the pressure on things, and just like enjoying it and having a good time. And like when you're in that energy, when you're in this bigger idea, like when that energy builds around these bigger ideas, it's like these cool strategies that you might try in your business, for example, they feel like playing with new toys. They don't feel like, how do I sit down and figure this hard thing out? Oh, I don't want to do it, but I have to have a good launch, right? It feels like, oh my God, I want to do that. Oh my God, that's so fun. Oh my God, that's going to be so fun. Oh my God, that sounds like such a good idea. I can't wait to do that. You know what I mean? And it just feels really good. So I feel that too. I'm opening to maintaining the receiving mode rather than trying to control things. I read that. Right now, action often triggers my forcing and controlling, so I'm finding receiving is working for me right now. That's good, but action isn't the trigger. Action isn't your trigger for the control mode. A thought is, right? A thought that you have in response to action, so that's where you would change the meaning, right? So maybe you have this meaning or this idea that's like action has to be this hard thing. In order for it to work, it requires a lot of your focus, time, attention, and energy even when you don't want to give it, right? So that's an idea that you have to change, right? And then once that idea is changed, you lighten the energy around your relationship to taking action, so you can be more willing and available to be a cooperative component in your manifestations. Does that make sense? The receiving mode is reliable. Hell yes. OMGS came up for me, like this idea that manifesting isn't reliable. Yeah, it's just not true. If it's unreliable, you're just not doing it fully. That's all. There's just more things that need to be uncovered. Oh yes, that dependent energy has been my state of bullshit for sure. Totally. It's very common for a lot of people. Yep, I'm doing the changing meaning too. Good, good. Makes perfect sense. Good, cool. Awesome. All right, that's all for me on this. But ultimately, like, and so just don't overthink it. Don't overthink your, it's so important. So important. Don't overthink these ideas that you get. You will get ideas because you're a human physical thing that can touch things and like feel things and move things and lift things for a reason, right? You're meant to do physical things, right? It's a part of the fun here. It's part of the fun part of why we're here, right? So it's like when you get these ideas, don't overthink them. Don't go, what if I do that wrong? What if I can't do it right? What if it doesn't work, right? Those questions will paralyze you and keep you from creating movement, and movement is what you're after, right? Movement is fun. Movement is fun. Movement is fun, and a lot of the times that you will be an active part of it, but it doesn't feel hard. It doesn't feel heavy. It doesn't feel forced. Sometimes you'll move through things and elevate to another level, and sometimes that feels crunchy for a minute, but if it's always feeling crunchy, if it's always feeling heavy and hard, there's something there that you need to become aware of that needs to be addressed and shifted. Got myself back in action after getting triggered yesterday. Thanks, Genevieve. Of course. Awesome. All right, that's all for now. But again, don't overthink it. And remember all the other things I said too. Okay. Bye.